Okay, hello everyone. So this is the functions worksheet that we had last time and we're going to quickly solve it. So in the first question we have f of x minus 3. It means that we need to input x minus 3 instead of x over here. So 4x minus 3 minus 1, 4x minus 12 minus 1, 4x minus 13. Just make sure that you write it in the correct positions. G of 5x, so it's going to be 5x all squared, which is 25x squared. F inverse is the inverse function, so you started by saying y equals 4x minus 1. Make y the subject, so y plus 1 over 4 equals to x. The last step is to replace x with the inverse and replace y with x, so it's going to be x plus 1 over 4. Find h of 1. So you start by finding h of 1 first, and h of 1 is 3 to the power of minus 1. So 3 to the power of 1, which is 3. Then h of 3 will be 3 to the power of 3, which is 27. Okay. So wait a minute, let me just, it's a negative x, so my bad. So negative x means that I'm gonna start again. So h of negative 1, which is a 1 over 9. Then h of 1 over 9, which is 3 to the power of negative 1 over 9. And to 4 significant figures, let me use my calculator. 3 to the power of negative 1 over 9, 0.8851. Okay, 0.8851, and then show that g of 3x minus 2 minus h of negative 3, it can be written as this. So g of 3x minus 2, so I'm going to say g is x squared. So I'm going to write it as 3x minus 2 squared minus h of negative 3, which is going to be 3 to the power of minus negative 3. So let me just expand this bracket, and I'm going to use the quick method. So 9x squared, and 3 times 2 times 2 is 12. X plus 4 minus 3 to the power of 3, because the minus is cancelled, which is 27. And this is 9x squared minus 12 minus 23. And yes, I've showed that answer. Then use the quadratic formula to answer this. Now they specified the quadratic formula, and I'm going to say that a is equal to 9, b is equal to negative 12, and c is equal to negative 23. X is equal to minus negative 12 plus or minus negative 12 squared minus 4ac all over 2 times 9. X is equal to 12 plus or minus, and I'm going to put this in my calculator. So it's going to be the square root of 144 minus 4, open bracket 9, close bracket, and then negative 23. That is going to give me 31.2. So 31.2 divided by 18. Then I'm going to get my first answer by adding. So 12 plus 31.2 divided by 18, and this answer is 2.4. And the second answer is 12 minus 31.2 divided by 18, and that is 1.06. Okay, negative 1.06 or 1.07, but yeah. Find x when f of 61 equals to h of x. So f of 61, back to the function f. So 4x minus 1. So 4x, which is going to be 4 times 61 minus 1 equals to 3 to the negative x. 4 times 61 minus 1 is 243. So 243 is 3 to the negative x. 243 is 3 to the power of 5, I believe, which is 3 to the power of 5 is 3 to the power of negative x. So negative x equals to 5 and x is equal to minus 5. And the second one, f of 2, so you start by f of 2. These are called composite functions, so 7 minus 2 is 5. Then f of 5, which is 7 minus 5, which is 2. G f of x, so you start by saying, you know that f of x is 7 minus x, so it's going to be g of 7 minus x. So you go to function g and replace x with 7 minus x, so it's going to equal to 4, open bracket 7 minus x plus 2, which is 28 minus 4x plus 2, which is 30 minus 4x. Make sure just you write it once in the designated place. H of 2x, so 15 minus x squared is going to be 15 minus 2x all squared, 15 minus 4x squared. Alright? After that, another question, work out the value of x when f of x equals negative 0.5. Now f of x is x divided by 4 minus 3 equals to negative half. X over 4 equals to negative half plus 3, which is 2.5. X equals to 10. G inverse, so you start by saying y equals to 6x minus 7. Y plus 7 over 6 equals to x. So x plus 7 over 6. Work out the value of x when h of x is f of 13. So h of x is 2 to the power of x. F of 13 is 13 over 4 minus 3. So 2 to the power of x, 13 over 4 minus 3. 2 to the power of x is 13 over 4 minus 3. This is a 1 over 4. 2 to the power of x, 1 over 2 squared. 2 to the power of x, 2 to the power of minus 2. X is equal to minus 2. Another question here. So f of negative 3, so it's going to be 2 minus 3 negative 3, which is 2 plus 9, which is 11. G of 2x, so 7, open bracket, 2x plus 3, 14x plus 3 is your answer. Then g f of x, so we already know that f of x is 2 minus 3x, so g of 2 minus 3x. So input 2 minus 3x, so it's going to be 7, 2 minus 3x plus 3. That is 14 minus 21x plus 3. 17 minus 21x is over here. So find x when 3f of x equals to 7. So 3 f of x is 2 minus 3x. So 2 minus 3x equals to 7. 6 minus 9x equals to 7. 6 minus 7 equals to 9x. X is equal to minus 1 over 9. Solve f of x plus 4 minus g of x. So again, f of x is 2 minus 3x. So it's going to be 2 minus 3. And instead of the x, you're going to write the x plus 4. Minus g of x is 7x plus 3. Remember, add the bracket because the minus affects it. 7x plus 3 equals to 0. Let me check again. Yes. So then 2 minus 3x minus and my plus would give me minus 12. Minus 7x minus and plus would give me minus 3 equals to 0. Take the x's to the other side, or take the numbers to the other side. So I'm going to say negative 3x minus 7x equals to 3 plus 12 minus 2, that's negative 10x. 3 plus 12 is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13. So x is equal to negative 1.3. Alright guys, so g of 1 over 4, so 8 times 1 over 4 minus 5, that's 2 minus 5, that's a negative 3. F of 2, so you start with f of 2, which is 3 over 2 plus 2, which is 3 over 4. Then f of, let me just write it as a decimal, it's easier for me. So 3, 0.75 plus 2, that is going to give me 12 over 11, I think. Okay, so g of x, so I start by, you know that g of x is 8x minus 5. So you're going to say g of 8x minus 5, which is equal to 8x minus 5, which is 64x minus 40 minus 5, 64x minus 45. G inverse, so y equals to 8x minus 5, y equals to 8x minus 5, then we make x the subject, so y plus 5 over 8 equals to x. So change the y to x, so x plus 5 over 8. G of x minus f of x, so g of x is 8x minus 5, f of x is 3 over x plus 2. So 8x minus 5 minus 3 over x plus 2. Write as a single fraction, so this is going to be 1. So common denominator is 2, x plus 2, keep it like that. So 8x minus 5, this is when you multiply here, times x plus 2 minus 1 times 3 is just a 3. Expanding the bracket, that's going to give me 8x squared plus 16x minus 5x minus 10 minus 3 over x plus 2. Then it ends up as 8x squared plus 11x minus 13 over x plus 2. Show that hg of x equals to 19 simplifies to this. Now hg of x, so I'm going to write it as h, then function g. Where is function g? Going back to 8x minus 5 equals to 19. But let's go to function h as well. So h is x squared plus 6. So x squared plus 6, I'm going to replace the x with this. So 8x minus 5 squared plus 6 equals to 19. Then expanding this, this would give me 64x squared minus 80x minus or plus 25 plus 6 equals to 19. 64x squared minus 80x, then I'm going to simplify. 25 plus 6 minus 19, 25 plus 6 minus 19 is 12. Divide everything by 4, so it's going to end up to be 16x squared minus 20x plus 3 equals to 0. Now use the quadratic formula to solve this, so I'm not gonna solve it, so just solve it on your own. Alright, in this question, because we've already done a question like this before. Alright, moving on. So f g of minus 2, again composite function, so g of negative 2 is going to be negative 2 all squared, which is equal to 4. Then f of 4 is 5 times 4 minus 3, which is 20 minus 3, which is 17. G f of x in its simplest form, so it's going to be g open bracket right f of x, so 5x minus 3, which is equal to 5x minus 3 all squared, which is 25x squared minus 30x plus 9. Let's write it in its place. F inverse of 5x minus 3. So you say y equals to 5x minus 3, y plus 3 over 5 equals to x, x plus 3 over 5. Question number 7. G f of 3. So you start with f of 3 again, which is 1 plus 4 times 3, which is 13, then g of 13, which is going to be 13 squared, which is 169. 169 here. F g of x, so f and g of x is x squared. So 1 plus 4, replace the x with x squared, and that's it. And after that, f inverse f of x. Now listen to me. When a function is composite with its inverse, the answer is always just the input, which is x. So it takes you back to x. That's why it's just a single mark. So you need to understand this. So f inverse f of x is just x. G inverse g of x is just x. G of x, g inverse of x is also just x. Find the value of x when f of x is 15. 1 plus 4x equals to 15. 4x equals to 14. X is equal to 7 over 2. So h of 3 in that case, so it's 4 to the power of 3. And 4 to the power of 3, I think it's 64. And after that, f h of 3. So you start with h of 3, which is, again, is 64. That's why it's just one mark. But f of 64 equals to 2 times 64 minus 1. Okay, 128 minus 1 is a 127. After that, g f of x equals to 0. So g of 2x minus 1 equals to 0. X squared plus 2x. So 2x minus 1 squared plus 2x minus 1 equals to 0. 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 plus 4x minus 2 equals to 0. 4x squared plus 1 and a minus 2 is a minus 1 equals to 0. This is the difference between two squares. So 2x minus 1, 2x plus 1, 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2. P inverse of x equals to f of x. Find. Alright, in this question we're going to use the same idea. Let me just explain something. So if you have, and that's an example that if you have, for example, f inverse of x equals to 5, this can be written just as f of 5. So you bring this inside and you change the inverse into the function. The same idea, we're going to do this over here. So if we want to find p of x, I think we can write it as p of x or p f of x. But we have, alright, just a second, hold on. Alright, so back to this. So this is just a more challenging way to explain it, but if I want to explain it in a simpler way, I would just do the following. So I would bring this here to become the input, and I would bring this here to become the output. So I can say f inverse of x is actually the p of x. Then I would find f inverse of x, and f inverse of x is y equals to 2x minus 1. So y equals to 2x minus 1. Y plus 1 over 2 equals to x. So it's just an x plus 1 over 2. All right. H of x, g of x, j of x are equals to 1 over root 2. So it's going to be h of x, j of x is not a composite function. It means that they're multiplied with each other. And h of x is 4 to the power of x times 2 to the power of x. So 4 to the power of x times 2 to the power of x equals to 1 over root 2. This can be 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of x, 1 over 2 to the power of half, because the root is half. This would be 2 to the power of 2x times 2 to the power of x equals to 2 to the power of minus half. Then you add the powers. 2 to the power of 3x equals to 2 to the power of minus half Then you equate the powers. 3x is minus half. X is equal to minus 1 over 6. All right? And that's it, everybody.